you believe in fate?
You ever wonder why we're here?
I'm not talking about the cute horoscope kind that men that look like this learn so that they can hit on women who look like this.
I mean capital F fate. The kind of fate that makes you betray the love of your life. This is the story of Kannazuki no Miko. It aired in 2004, and it's a hybrid of Yuri romance and mecha action wrapped up in a Greek tragedy motif.
Can you think of any other show that even tried to do something like this since then? The answer is no, because they don't make acid as strong as they used to. Being gay in 2004, you were scavenging for scraps in the media. Queer people were often reduced to subtext, or more often than not, depicted as harmful stereotypes under the guise of visibility. Kannazuki no Miko was interesting because there wasn't really any hand-waving. It was pretty open about, yeah, this girl is in love with this girl. This show is so dramatic, by the way. It's like if Evangelion and Maria-sama started fucking in a Shinto shrine and then 9 months later this came out. I mean, it's not always clean, but it's a beautiful story about a girl in love with a girl who at one point cried 4 times in less than 5 minutes. We open on a scene of a school. I mean, it's an anime, where else is it gonna open on? The premise of Kannazuki no Miko centers around Chikane Himemiya and Himeko Kurisugawa, 2 girls who are fated to be the sun and moon priestess. Because they couldn't just be fucking track stars or something, they just had to be special. They are responsible for sealing away the ancient evil of the Orochi. The series sets up a love triangle between the 2 girls and Himeko's childhood friend, Soma Ogami. And hey, Soma's not a bad guy per se.
I'll kill myself!
But this show isn't about him. It's about 2 girls and the infinite cycle that they're trapped in. Halfway through the first episode, the Orochi returned. They are evil, reincarnated souls that pilot big-ass mechas that Chikane thinks she can defeat by playing Shadow of the Colossus. That is not proper CPR, that is just a handful of titty. You might be thinking, holy shit, it's just 2 girls. And Doomfist!
You didn't have to cut me off.
The story progresses, and Soma's older brother teaches Himeko and Chikane about their powers and duties as shrine maidens. He knows all this because his family is direct descendants of the god of swordsmen, Ame no Murakumo, and have been keeping an eye on this cycle for years. The idea is that Orochi is an old god who commands 8 separate necks, of which Soma is one of them. These necks seek to bring about the end of the world. The ultimate goal of Chikane and Himeko is to revive the god of swordsmen and bring him to the shrine on the moon. Yeah, I guess there's a shrine on the moon, by the way. I don't know, we missed that when we did the first landing, so what do we have on the list of shit that we missed on the moon? A giant shrine and Transformers. Episode 3 is where the cracks begin to show. While Soma's older brother is teaching Himeko and Chikane a ritual, a momentary lapse in judgment from Himeko leads Chikane to get hurt. This compounds on top of guilt that Himeko was already feeling.
Himeko feels guilt over her friends and family having their town be destroyed and how people continue to make sacrifices for her time and time again. This is understandable because, from Himeko's perspective, this is happening because of her existence in parallel to them, rather than viewing it as what it is, a consequence inflicted on them by time and space without anyone's consent.
Episode 5 is where things really begin to heat up because Tsubasa, the Orochi's first and most powerful neck, confronts Soma directly. In a flashback, he reveals that he's actually Soma's real older brother, and that Soma was, later on, adopted by the Ogami family. That's why he's susceptible to the Orochi's curse, because he's not a true descendant of Ame no Murakumo. At the same time, later that night, Soma takes out his frustration on Chikane. He berates her for not doing more to save Himeko before he goes to the outskirts of town to confront Tsubasa again.
What is it that you actually do here?
The mech fights in this show aren't anything revolutionary, they're more symbolic than anything. The real conflict is internal, and this is one of those points where the show flexes its thematic depth. You see, Soma calls into question the Orochi's whole mission. I mean, he's just gained a brother, he doesn't want to lose him right away, so he begs for him to see this a different way, and that they could maybe work together to save the world instead of destroying it. In Tsubasa's eyes, however, the world is intrinsically broken. In another flashback, we see the reason why the 2 brothers were split up. It's because Tsubasa defended Soma against their abusive father by killing him. This puts Tsubasa on a dark and lonely path. Tsubasa has experienced the coldest parts of the world, and that motivated him to want to destroy it. His viewpoint is understandable because, especially in the modern age, when you see the world at its cruelest, it can be hard to not become jaded against everything. We have a device in our pocket that gives us a million different ways to be angry at the world. And there's plenty to be angry at. Like I said, it's a world that takes. It's a world that turns brother against brother.
I would have shown you the absolute proof that this world is hell. What else can you call a world where brothers like you and I have to fight each other?
I really like this moment and this whole episode because there's so much beautiful contrast. You've got these big dominating mechs that are just a backdrop. They're set dressing for the real conflict between these two regular-sized humans. And yet the conflict between them feels even bigger than the mechs. I'll be honest, up to this point, the show has felt routine, bordering on unremarkable. But this changes so much because things are finally heating up. We're seeing true signs of romantic tension between Chikane and Himiko. You have this brotherly infighting that plays like a waltz of morals. It's all so good.
Chikane is starting to become unable to ignore the things she feels for Himiko, and seeing her with Soma is tearing her up inside.
Chikane's biggest dilemma is that the love she feels for Himiko is beginning to be warped by power, or her self-interpreted lack thereof. Chikane fears losing what little control she feels she has left. Her dialogue doesn't emphasize the strength of them both, it emphasizes her strength, her ability to protect Himiko.
We're so close now. Please, Himiko, you've got to make it a little further and then I'll be able to protect you. And without the aid of anyone else, just you and me.
But in her blind pursuit of this, she's neglecting to thoroughly consider the person she loves and, therefore, neglecting herself. Yo, also, I don't know and I don't care if I can show this on YouTube. Those nipples look huge from that angle. That's crazy. Chikane starts acting erratically. I mean, she pushes Himiko to go out with Soma and she even does her hair, but the moment that Himiko is out the door, she's a brooding mess. It's at her lowest that Sister Miyako, the second neck of the Orochi, pounces. And you can really tell this show is a product of its time because Sister Miyako tries to tell Chikane that her homosexuality is
a love that cannot be blessed, a love assured of regrets, a love that will never come true.
Sister Miyako gives Chikane a glimpse into her past lives and tries to convince her that there's only one way that her and Himiko can truly be happy together. And that is, well, if the world's doomed, then why not destroy it so that you and your true love can die together? While Chikane initially refutes Sister Miyako, it's only when she sees Soma and Himiko kissing, and when Himiko confesses her feelings for Soma later on, that she finally breaks. It's at this point that Chikane decides to switch sides and join the Orochi. I like that in this moment of transformation, you can see the crescent moon reflected in the pond that she's over. The last stage before a new moon, before a big change. And Chikane is the moon priestess. Look, for all of its shortcomings, one thing I will say is that this show is full of some gorgeous symbolism. Wait, was that blackface? Was her finger in her mouth? But it's at this point we have to discuss the most morbid point of the show, and the reason why it lives on in infamy to this day.
After pushing everyone away, Chikane corners Himiko in the dead of night. Chikane reveals that she has joined the Orochi and kisses Himiko before then further forcing herself on her in a violent and dark moment. And it bugs me that instead of focusing on the horror of the moment, the scene is framed with melancholy and romantic music. The camera lingers on Chikane's expression of pain, which reframes her violence as tragedy and her almost as a victim. In what could have been and should have been a triumphant declaration of sapphic love, the show instead subjects Himiko to sexual assault by the person she trusted and loved the most. It's gratuitous and unforgivable.
I've said this before, but I don't personally believe that a story ever needs romance. But if you are gonna write a love story, I don't think you should shoehorn in rape as a critical plot device. The show tries to justify this by having Chikane later explain to Himiko that she knew she was going to betray her and that she had done it in past lives, like she saw in the flashback. She believes that hurting Himiko will turn Himiko against her and make Himiko kill Chikane. It's a martyrdom complex. I said earlier that this show is a Greek tragedy, but that comparison might be a little generous. Because real tragedies build their drama organically, and they don't use sexual assault as a shortcut to it. I'll talk more about this later, but for right now, what I will say is that no amount of sad piano music can cover up what this is. It is a blatant betrayal of everyone that this show set out to represent. I must say, even in the face of that reprehensible moment, I do admire Chikane's villain transformation. Chikane becomes the villain because the show needs her to, right? You could just have your little set of antagonists, but this makes an even bigger and more unexpected antagonist. And I like the way it subverts expectation, you know? We need the tragedy, like I said, you know, the sun needs the moon, the light needs the dark.
When I'm with him, my heart races so fast. Chikane.
I'm happy for you, Himiko. I'm happy for you.
While I can hate Chikane's actions, I can admire the writing of her character and sort of the way that she was led to this point. Again, that's not an endorsement of her actions. Not saying it was right. I'm just saying that I think it's interesting the way her character evolved. I have to spell it out for you people because none of you understand subtext anymore. So since you need people to spell shit out like it's f***ing Sesame Street, here, rape is bad. Hot take, I know. Self-directed hate is truly Chikane's undoing. It's that internal guilt that prevents her from being with Himeko and pushes her to become what she does.
Following everything, Soma tries to intervene and stop Chikane, but with her new unbridled power from the Orochi, she's able to take command of Soma's mech and runs off.
The final episodes start to really escalate the melodrama. You see, Soma is being afflicted with a curse for defying his duty as an Orochi neck that's slowly consuming his body with scales. Meanwhile, Himeko is now left to perform the ritual to revive Ame no Murakumo on her own. Chikane goes on to kill the other necks of Orochi before raising a dark moon in the sky to herald the end of the world. Chikane combines all of the Orochi neck's mechas to make one big mecha that's then used to fight the eventually revived Ame no Murakumo mecha. Chikane and Himeko then go on to fight on the Shrine on the Moon in a beautiful and emotionally charged scene. Himeko begs and pleads with Chikane to remember her true self, but Chikane responds by burning the world to ash with a single arrow. And that means she probably has the best KD in history next to all those rats with the bubonic plague. The anger of the moment drives Himeko to kill Chikane, but in their last moments, Chikane shows Himeko all of their past lives and then finally confesses her true feelings.
I've always loved you. Always. I can't be forgiven. I'm not.
Chikane dies in Himeko's arms under a pale moon, and it pisses me off how beautiful this is. Because they cycle through scenes of Chikane and Himeko together, like they're finally able to be with one another and talk about their feelings unfettered. They talk about dates and photos and all the ways they want to be together no matter what the world says. But, of course, this is too good to be true.
Promise you'll never stop looking! Please, Himiko! Promise me you'll never forget!
I'll never forget! I won't!
They hold each other until the very last moment, until Chikane is whisked away, and we literally close the shutters on this love story.
On the moon, there's an abandoned shrine that no one knows about.
In the aftermath, Himeko adjusts to the new world, absent of all of her memories from the previous one. But her feelings never truly leave, and this is evidenced when she turns down the Soma of this world because she's waiting for someone. And in a post-credits payoff scene, the cycle finally and truly completes.
We will fall in love once again.
Let's talk about fan and critical reaction. Because when it aired, Kannazuki no Miko split viewers right down the middle. Some fans praised it for daring to show a Yuri couple, one that was at the center of a high-stakes, emotionally driven narrative. And it's true, in 2004, it was rare to see lesbians that weren't just fetish fuel for straight audiences. But the critics weren't so gentle, they lambasted this show. Erica Friedman, founder of Yuricon, wrote bluntly that Kannazuki no Miko is, quote, a piece of utter, plotless dreck, wrapped up in hormonal angst, senseless screaming, and a rape scene that has no meaning or context. And she's not wrong. The rape scene was so unnecessary that it bordered on incoherent. It didn't further the story, and it didn't reveal anything about those characters that couldn't have otherwise been revealed by more intentional, careful writing. And what's worse, it helps contribute to a legacy where queer love, especially lesbian love, is represented by trauma and pain. And something else that pisses me off is that Chikane did what she did to make Himiko hate her. But it didn't work. Chikane didn't come anywhere close to accomplishing the goal that would have allegedly justified what she did. Himiko couldn't hate Chikane, or even once think about revenge. When compared to later works, Kannazuki no Miko's shortcomings become even more stark. Aoi Hana, a show from 2009, focuses on the soft romance between two queer friends. It explores themes of queer identity while remaining emotionally grounded and treats its characters with sensitivity. Sasameki Koto, another show from 2009, blended humor with coming-of-age drama, which let its characters be real. They felt awkward, but real. Blue Drop, a show that came 3 years after this, incorporated sci-fi elements like Kannazuki, but it treated its queer protagonists with empathy and never used trauma as a shortcut. In recent years, younger viewers, particularly queer women, are going back to shows like Kannazuki no Miko and asking important questions. Important questions like, why are queer characters always hurting each other or making sacrifices in order to be complex? In an era where we have shows like Bloom Into You, Adachi and Shimamura, and There's No Way I'll Be Your Lover, or whatever the hell that fucking new one is that's going on that's really good, a show like Kannazuki no Miko feels, in a word, outdated. And now, let's wrap it up with a conclusion. Kannazuki no Miko is a tragedy in the truest sense, because it could have been a generational love story. Its visual motifs like the full moon and the fated lovers are breathtaking. I believe there's a version of this show buried deep under all the pain where Chikane and Himiko could have been something beautiful. But that's not the version we got. We got a version of the show that crossed the line and then asked us to cry about it. It could have been a great story about fighting fate and pre-established destiny, but it's not. Kannazuki no Miko is a love story, but it's about a love that's so powerful that it destroys the vessel that carries it. As a relic of 2004, Kannazuki no Miko shows how far we've come. It's a cautionary tale. The LGBTQIA+ community deserves better stories, and thankfully, we're getting them. The show isn't completely absent of things to praise, it's just that the good things are so few and far between and just inconsistent that it makes it hard to really isolate them and praise them. One thing though,
Kubota Mina's
score deserves an award. It's beautiful, it's really orchestral, it feels very classic action. Like the intense moments feel big, there's lots of brass and horns, and then the slow, sad moments are there's melancholic, it's dripping in piano and these very slow strings. The music hard carries the emotional weight whenever the animation falters, and it does falter. The animation of the mech battles is, like I said, nothing to write home about, and also there's lots of scenes of dialogue padding or scenes where it's just stills of characters talking da-da-da-da-da on and on in order to pad for runtime and make it easier on the animators. And speaking of dialogue, the voice acting might be the most inconsistent part of all of this. Now, I watched the rare English dub made by Genion, which is now... And I use English dub footage because years ago, one guy in my comments said that the English dub footage pisses him off, and I'm such a hater that now I'm dedicated to using dub footage whenever I can. My personal vendetta aside, the dialogue bounces between being clunky and verbose to being somehow very emotionally driven and dense. All my shit-talking aside, something I do love is the visual style of this show. While not as hard-line as earlier 90s anime, it's just hard enough, that's what she said. And there's lots of things that I feel like we don't see anymore, like very unique colors and textures and these early 2000s 3D backgrounds that I can't get enough of. And while I'm giving out honorable mentions, let's give one out to Soma for just being a good guy, because it was very hard to find a good guy character in the early 2000s, and it's only gotten harder. That's what she said. Again, 2-in-1 video. I'm gonna get a note from HR from our parent company, Omniscient. The world is ours. But Soma is an excellent example of indomitable human will that doesn't breach into the territory of ego. even when Tsubasa finds him petrified and argues that his quest was futile because Chikane is in love with Himiko and Himiko's in love with Chikane, and he's just basically watched everything walk out of his life. But Soma still doesn't agree with him, because as long as he was able to fight for the people he cared about, and as long as he was able to protect the future good of the world, he will never agree that the world is hell. He really is just a good guy, and his perseverance and level-headedness is something that I think all young men should look up to. This show has been undoubtedly difficult to assess, and while I don't think we should entirely turn our back on it, I think we should reserve a space for it and engage with it cautiously. So I'm giving Kannazuki no Miko a 3 out of 10, with the sub rating of would cautiously recommend. It gets 1 point for the soundtrack, 1 point for the visual style, and 1 point for all the queer people in 2004 who needed something, anything. And me? I've been the Hotbox. Thank you so much for watching, and for all of my viewers that voted for this show in the last community poll. There's gonna be another one that goes up when this video goes live, so make sure to go vote in that, or if you don't see what you want there, comment it on this video. Don't forget to leave a like and share the video around. Spread the word. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good rest of your day and an even better tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next episode of whatever I make. And until next time, I've been the Hotbox. Bye!
Whoops.
Hey, it's summer. When the heat rolls in, don't worry about paying dumb stuff like rent or your power bill to run the AC. Dehydrate and dihydrate with merch from the Hotbox store. This is a fuck up. It's printed on the back instead of the front, but the real ones come on the front, unless you want one with the back, and then I'll make one with the back. It's a well-known fact that white clothing refracts heat, meaning our clothing will keep you from dehydrating fast. You can stay alive longer, so you can look fresh longer. W. This is the Perception Hoodie. It has a big box on the back, just like me. Get it? Because I have a fat ass. Have you ever been arrested? If the answer is no, you can't wear this shirt. Get out of here. This shirt has the lips of a woman on it. I don't know what those feel like, but my friends say they're cool. You can use the code at the bottom of your screen to pay less money, but why would you do that when I need it? Buying merch is the quickest and most direct way to support the channel, so if you want to be my sugar mama, this is how you start. The Hotbox Merch Store, YouTuber merch that won't get you bullied. Order now or I'll come to your house and force you to open an umbrella indoors. Kind that men It's not always clean, and sometimes you cry within. Okay, what was the tally? Fuck off. Act like that, make my fucking day, huh? Make my fucking day right now. Give me a reason to fucking do something. I need to fan myself between takes, because I can't have the AC on, because it makes too much noise. But it's so hot, so fuck you, teacher's not wearing a jacket today or buttoning up his shirt. The series sets up a love triangle. Well, Chikane's biggest flaw is. Fuck. Chikane's biggest flaw is me fucking up her line. Her love for Chime. Whoa, my god, how do I get the name wrong like that? Soma was adopted by. What? Oh, fuck, I fucked that up so bad. Those nipples look huge from that angle. That's crazy. You can really tell this show is a product of her time. Unless something is screamed straight in your dumb fucking face, you don't get it. So following everything, Some tries to. Wait, Some? Why did I write that in the fucking notes? Wait. While Chikane initially refutes him. Oh my god. Teacher's so fucking hot. Teacher is so fucking hot. God damn it.